Do it.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Am I
Yes, Mata.
should
I can hear you, no problem.
okay. Namayom Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanto Swami Niti Namine Namayom Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanto Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesho Shunyavadi Passcode Tarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesho Shunyavadi Passcode Tarine Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraj Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanchari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Srila Prabhupada, Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances.
Thank you, Mata. Appreciate. Always singing. Great voice, great passion. Thank you so much. Okay. Let's do this. It's been like 2 weeks, I think. We didn't read. I had to go to India, came back. I just came home now, I'm rushing here. But the show must go on. Okay. This is the reading, huh? December 29.
Yes, Prabhuji, from here.
Okay, so I'm gonna start the prayer here in the Mount Sampradaya Prestaptalis Bhagavatamrta. Swami Tinamne Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivrse Sunavad Paskatya Sikrishata Chanan Sadvaita Gadadar Vasati Gauravat. December 29, 1975. No morning walk again today, although Prabhupada is feeling a little better. Rather than take his massage on the roof, Prabhupada sat on the veranda outside his room, overlooking the inner courtyard of the house. We could hear Harikesha preaching enthusiastically to the king's son and his wife outside a room across the courtyard down on the ground floor. He gave a slight motion of his head and a sidelong glance to indicate to me. This thing is. He listened appreciatively for a few moments and said, "He is preaching very nicely." Smiling, he remarked that Harikesha is very enthusiastic for preaching and that is his greatest asset. Our hosts are cooking for us, but Harikesha still prepares Srila Prabhupada's meals. In this way, Prabhupada can maintain his regular diet suited to his own taste and delicate digestion. He likes to eat alone and rarely allows anyone to remain with him while he honors his prasadam, as I found out this afternoon. Prabhupada sat down after taking his bath, and I brought his plate. He began to eat, and I sat obediently in front, eagerly to serve. I thought myself very privileged to share the intimacy of Srila Prabhupada taking his lunch. Prabhupada, however, looked up from his plate and raised his eyebrows, questioning why I was there. He clearly felt the intrusion, and slightly embarrassed, I left. I couldn't understand he likes us to do things with reason and purpose and not simply hang around. Interesting. The only program today was in the evening, one final one in Sanand. After a short half-an-hour lecture, many people came to the stage and gave garlands to Prabhupada. When the king's son and his wife stood before Prabhupada, jointly offering a gigantic multi-layer lamp of 108 wicks To Prabhupada, not only was the lamp heavy, but made of brass, it was also extremely hot. A huge flame shot up from the burning wicks about a foot high, but somehow they held to the lamp and complete the puja. We performed kirtan, and the family members and prominent citizens sang the traditional bhajan. There were some short speeches of thanks, and finally, the highly successful Pandal series as was brought to a close. December 3rd, 1975. Early in the morning, Prabhupada took his leave, graciously thanking the king's entire family for their kindness and hospitality. He was very happy with the programs and talked with the king's son about organizing the village preaching. Prabhupada's enthusiasm was clearly rubbed off on the Yuvraj, and he seemed very eager to help us push forward Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Now, the next one can read from Ahmedabad.
Anushka Mata.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Panchan Pranam. Ahmedabad. We drove to one life member's house in Ahmedabad. After a brief reception, Srila Prabhupada boarded a silver carriage drawn by two horses for a procession through the local district. This time, Prabhupada had me sit directly opposite to him and at his feet on the lower front seat. It was strikingly different from the Sanand and Bubble parades, where Prabhupada's presence had attracted crowds of thousands. Here, only a few hundred people lined up along the route, mainly out of curiosity at the sound of the kirtan. It appeared that the event wasn't well advertised or organized. Yet those who attended the parade were none the less respectful and sincere, and Prabhupada was pleased with their attempts. We ended up at a small temple of Lord Shiva. After offering respects to the deity, Prabhupada gave a short lecture in Hindi. Then it was on to a life member's house for lunch and a short rest. Yashomati Nandan took Yashomati Nandan then took Prabhupada to see a house he is thinking of renting for a center. After inspecting it, Prabhupada sat in the back seat of the car next to me, ready to leave for the airport. Just then, a young boy of about 10 came up to the window next to me. He peered in and saw the beautiful button I was wearing on my khadi waistcoat. It was a photo of the deities of Lord Jagannath, Balram, and Subhadra in Melbourne. The boy's eyes lit up. Without saying a word, he repeatedly pointed first at the badge and then at himself with his eyebrows going up and down and a big smile on his face as if to say, "Give it to me, give it to me." I did my best to ignore him, for I was rather attached to the badge and had worn it for a long time. When Srila Prabhupada looked over to see what was going on, I half suspected that he might tell me to give it to the boy. I was hoping not. Suddenly, Prabhupada leaned forward with his eyes wide and put up both his hands and with fingers spread wide. 10 rupees, he told the boy with mock seriousness. 10 rupees. Our solicitous young visitor was only momentarily taken aback. Shaking his head from side to side, he continued to point. Shah Prabhupada laughed and said back, "All right, give it to him." Resigned, I dutifully handed over the badge, and the boy skipped merrily away. His prize was the lotus feet of the Lord of the universe. Mine was a little more detached and surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord's servant, Srila Prabhupada. We flew back to Bombay at 5 o'clock and by mid-evening, Srila Prabhupada was back in his quarters at Hare Krishna Land, Juhu Beach. Upon arrival in his room, he again admitted that his heart was getting weaker and that he was not feeling well. December 31st, 1975. Madhu Dasa Swami, GBC for Australia, contacted us today and requested a confirmation of Srila Prabhupada's intention to attend their fourth annual Melbourne Rath Yatra in mid-January. Australia's seasons are reversed to those in the northern hemisphere. So a few years ago, Prabhupada had given his permission to hold the festival during the summer rather than in the cold of June in order to attract the greatest number of people. All the Prabhupada wanted to attend. After some discussion, he finally decided not to go. He reasoned that his legs, feet, and hands were still quite swollen with fluid, and he was not feeling well enough to travel such a long distance. He didn't go on his walk, though, and otherwise spent a quiet day meeting a few visitors in the afternoon. Hansaduta returned from a day's shopping with a set of small bowls, a lota, a spoon, and a rimmed plate for Srila Prabhupada, all made of solid silver. Hansdut was surprised to discover that Prabhupada didn't have his own eating utensils, so on his own initiative he purchased a complete set of silverware. His Divine Grace was very pleased at this thoughtfulness and accepted the gift with humble appreciation. He handed them over to me with the instruction that they should be kept with him as his permanent travel set. Hans Dutta is now thoroughly enlivened with the idea of village to village preaching in India. Recent problems in Germany, where he is the GBC, have virtually stopped the preaching there, so he's looking for a new engagement. Prabhupada is therefore encouraging him to preach in the villages. Hans Dut spent the entire day inquiring about the price of buses and other equipment, and he talked with Prabhupada about bringing some men over from Germany to form an all India traveling Sankirtan party. Although Prabhupada likes the idea, he doesn't want him to abandon his duties in Germany altogether. He told him that even if there are difficulties there, the efforts for the long term establishment of Krishna consciousness have to be maintained. Since Sanstuta Prabhu has been instrumental in the development of the German Yatra, Srila Prabhupada isn't keen to see him leave, lest everything collapse. But Srila Prabhupada also has no objection at all to Hansduta's preaching in India, at least for the time being, while the difficulties persist. Srila Prabhupada likes the idea of having some of his senior preachers active in India. In many ways, he is personally carrying the full weight of the Indian preaching. He has a few experienced men based here and consequently has to do much of the preaching and management himself. Thus, the presence of another one of his trained preachers is therefore welcome to him.
Hmm.
Chapter
Next.
6.
Oh, you want to keep reading? Okay. Nobody raised their hand.
Hare Krishna.
Okay,
I think
Mata.
Antara.
Okay.
Should I start?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
please.
Okay. Chapter 6, Madras, January 1st, 1976. Tamal Krishna Goswami arrived from America at 5 a.m. this morning to serve as Prabhupada's secretary for the month of January. Prabhupada was very happy to see him. He brought with him the newly printed volumes 1 and 2 of the Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto. The books look beautiful with gilt edge pages and a new full-color painting for the end covers. The paintings is of Shukdev Goswami, surrounded by all the great sages, speaking the Bhagavatam to the Maharaja Parikshit on the banks of the Ganges. The front cover and the spine are gold stamped, giving an attractive, high-quality appearance. Prabhupada is delighted with them. Srila Prabhupada also received the first copies of a new pocket-sized book he translated, Sri Upadeshamrita, The Nectar of Instruction, by Srila Rupa Goswami. Prabhupada appeared very satisfied with it, and he immediately asked how many copies had been printed. When he heard there were only 10,000, he wanted to know why. Tamal Krishna Maharaja explained that the BBT staff thought that the book is meant primarily for devotees, thus the small print run. But Prabhupada made it clear that he wants the book for mass distribution as well. He told Tamal to inform Rameshwara to print at least 1 lakh immediately. Tamal Krishna Maharaja then gave him the final distribution figures for the 6-day Christmas period. The figures were astounding, and Prabhupada laughed in clear enjoyment over 6 lakhs books distributed. In New York alone, they had sold 80,000 Krishna books, trilogies in just one day. The figures are utterly unprecedented, and Srila Prabhupada beamed as he heard the scores and the sum of the stories of how it was done. At 8:55 a.m., Srila Prabhupada, Tamal Krishna Maharaja, Harikesha, and I flew to Madrasa. Achyutananda, Yashodanandana, Guru Kripa, and Mahasha Maharajas, Sarvananda, and Bhavabhuti Prabhus, the core temple presidents of ISKCON Madras, members of Namahatta Sankirtana party, and a small but very enthusiastic group of life members all greeted us at the Madras airport. They held a rousing kirtana in the small airport building, bringing everything to a standstill. The life members were swept up by enthusiasm of devotees, and at least 30 to 40 garlands were draped around Srila Prabhupada's neck. Srila Prabhupada was beaming with pleasure at the reception, and after a few minutes, we were led out to a waiting Mercedes sedan, loaned for the week by a well-wisher and driven to a life member's home. We are staying at the house of Mr. Manichal Bhai, an extremely pleasant and respectful Madurai businessman, a member of Ballava Sampradaya. He is a strict vegetarian. It is a large, quiet house, and Srila Prabhupada has been given a section of the top floor with a porch. The steep climb was a bit daunting for Prabhupada, as he is still very weak from uremia. Thus we carried him up in a chair. For us, of course, it was a welcome burden, a pleasure to relieve Srila Prabhupada of any strain, but it was definitely not a good sign. Later in the morning, he conducted a well-attended press conference. He explained to the reporters that the propagation of Krishna consciousness movement is aimed at educating the foolish modern civilization that indeed there is a God, as described in the Bhagavad Gita. It is a quiet day with few visitors, and Prabhupada relaxed. In the evening, Mr. Y drove him to the Rajeshwari Kalyana Mandapam for the first of two programs arranged by Sarvananda and Bhavabhuti Prabhus. The venue is a popular marriage hall on the Cathedral Road, with a seating capacity for about 2,000. The devotees had managed to get a life member to pay for the hire. The hall is light and airy with two open sides and a recessed ceiling about 30 feet high. At the center back, there is a raised platform with a heavily sculpted gazebo-like structure over it, where the weddings are performed. Opposite this is a modest stage, recessed into the wall. On this, the devotees have made simple but attractive arrangements for the 2 days of programs. In the center of the stage, they have placed a beautiful Vyasasana for Prabhupada, a gift from the owner of the Globe Mirror Company, another enthusiastic supporter. A large banner across the back wall, prominently featuring the ISKCON lotus flower logo and name of the society, and that of Srila Prabhupada completes the decorations. When Srila Prabhupada arrived, the wall was packed, the mood relaxed and expectant. He mounted the stage and took his place on the Vyasasana. Co-temple presidents Bhavabhuti and Sarvananda offered garlands, and the devotees danced exuberantly to the kirtana led by Achyutananda Swami. The devotees had invited the governor of Tamil Nadu to attend. During the state of emergency, he apparently has more authority in the state than the chief minister. He gave a short opening speech, praising the work Srila Prabhupada is doing to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. He presented Prabhupada with a garland and Prabhupada in turn gave him one of his personal copies of the new sixth canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Unfortunately, the governor couldn't remain for the entire program because of prior commitments. Prabhupada did not seem to mind though. He was satisfied to have a leading dignitary give support to his mission, especially here in Madras, a city noted for its efforts to smash traditional religious systems. Srila Prabhupada chanted Jai Radha Madhava and launched into an excellent 50-minute lecture on Bhagavad Gita 3.27. He emphasized the same theme from the morning's press conference, that the purpose of Krishna consciousness movement is to educate the mudhas, the fools and rascals who refuse to accept the supremacy of God. Prabhupada explained that God is conversing, here I am. Yet people continue to search for God. The verse is itself explained the reason why ahankara bimuratma, simply due to false egoism. Somehow or other, we have now this human form of life, he said. Krishna said that utilize it very nicely so that the problems of the life are finished. And that knowledge is very easy. Simply try to understand Krishna. That's all. That will solve. And Krishna is explaining himself, what he is. Where is the difficulty? Unless you make some interpretation foolishly, everything is very clear. So you can understand Krishna. And if you understand Krishna, the result is Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam Eva Yo Vetti Tattata Tvakta Deha Punar Janma Naiti Mameti Kaunteya. Where is the difficulty? There is no difficulty. Therefore, our request is take to this Krishna consciousness. If the foreigners can take it very seriously, so why not Indians? It is Indians' knowledge. Bhagavad Gita was spoken in India. Why you are neglecting it? Why you are not taking advantage? Why you are falsely proud that you are independent? These are our questions. Prabhupada's straightforward approach appealed to the receptive audience, who reciprocated by asking some thoughtful questions. The first was about isms. Someone asked, is Krishna consciousness Hinduism? It is Krishnaism. Prabhupada explained. Hinduism means a type of faith, or Muslimism is a type of faith. But as it is described in the English dictionary, religion means a kind of faith. It is not that type of religion. It is compulsory fact, just like sugar is. Compulsorily must become sweet. If sugar is not sweet, that is not real sugar. Chili is not hot. That is not real chili. Similarly, we are part and parcel of Krishna. Our duty is to become Krishna conscious. There is no question to faith. There is no question of faith. You may have faith in Hinduism. Tomorrow you may have faith in Christianism, or you may have faith in Christianism tomorrow in the Mohammedan. This kind of faith is not Krishna consciousness, just like laws of states. It is not that it is meant for the Hindus or for the Muslims, for the Christians. It is meant for everyone. Similarly, Mamai Vaishya Jiva Bhuta. We are part and parcel of Krishna. So it is compulsory to revive our consciousness that we are part and parcel of Krishna. It is not question of faith. Faith you may accept or do not accept, but there is a question of must. You must receive your Krishna consciousness, otherwise you will suffer. Should I continue or someone will continue?
Someone can take.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes. Please carry on.
Yeah. The second Personal wanted some clarification on the distinction between form and formlessness. The personal form and impersonal form, there are two conceptions. So Prabhupada replied, but Krishna explains this, the Maya Tatam Vidya Sarvam Jagat Avyakta Murtina Avyaktam, impersonal, that is another form of Krishna. So the whole creation is Krishna's expansion of energy, just like the sunshine. Sunshine is also the same quality, heat and light, as the sun globe or the sun god. But the sunshine is impersonal and the sun globe is localized. And within the sun globe, there is sun god. So that is the main source of everything. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Brahmana Aham Pratishtha. Krishna is the source of Brahma Jyoti. So impersonal or personal, whatever you take, that is Brahma. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdate. Whatever you take, that is emanation from Krishna. But Krishna has said, if you want to approach the absolute truth through the impersonal form, then it will be little difficult. Perhaps you may not reach the ultimate goal. You may fall down. There are so many instances. We have seen in India so many big sannyasis. They give up this world. Brahma Satya Jagat Mitha. But after some days, they come down to the Jagat and engage themselves in politics. Why? They could not stay in the Br- Brahma stage. That is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam by concentrating on the impersonal form. They think that they have become liberated, but actually, Avishuddha Buddhaya, the impersonal conception is not purified intelligence. Jene Ravidaksha Vimukta Mani- Maninas. You may think that I have become liberated, but it is not. Why? Ariha Krishna Parapada Tata Pran- Prat- Pratanti Adha. After so much trouble and austerity, penances, you may acquire a position in impersonal Brahma, but there is chance of falling down from here. Patanti Adha. Why? Now, Anadra Vismad Agraha. Because they could not find out how to worship your lotus feet. So unless you come to the personal form of the absolute truth, there is difficulty and there is chance of falling down. A third man said that he considered Christianity and Krishna consciousness to be the same. He wanted to know what Prabhupada had to say about that. Prabhupada answered, everything is Krishna consciousness. It is question of degrees. Suppose Krishna is there on the top and it is 100 steps. So somebody has covered 5 steps, somebody has covered 10 steps, somebody has covered 100 steps, like that. So everyone is searching after Krishna, but there are degrees of realization of Krishna. Either Christian, Mohammedan, or any, they are searching after Krishna. That is all right, but it is a question of degrees, how far they have gone forward. The last stage is Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mami Karam Saranam Vraja. That is the final stage. Another man asked if the Krishna consciousness movement was the development of the Gauriya Math. Prabhupada answered non-committally. No, Krishna consciousness is there in the Bhagavad Gita. It is nobody's property. It is Krishna's instruction. The next question caused a stir in the audience. Without being outright offensive, a man clearly tried to challenge Srila Prabhupada's own qualifications. Swamiji, what is the color of Krishna? It is blue or black? Not according to Shastra, but your experience. Prabhupada delighted everyone with his reply. So if you kindly advance in Krishna consciousness, then you will understand. Amid loud applause and laughter, he took the next couple of inquiries and then another challenge. A man wanted to know why the Krishna consciousness movement was popular in the Western countries but not in India where Krishna appeared. Challenging the accuracy of his statement, Prabhupada retorted, "It is very popular here also. Otherwise, why you have come here?" Everyone cheered and laughed at his sharp reply, but the man was insistent. "But it is not so popular. Krishna is popular in India very much. Every house they observe Krishna Janmashtami. At the mention of Krishna's birthday, the crowd clapped loudly, laughing and applauding as Prabhupada added a punchline and reversed the implied criticism. Unfortunately, you are forgetting this. That is the misfortune. Another query came from a man who wanted to know how to meditate on Brahma. But how do we just meditate and get in touch with that Brahma? Is the thing there a critical point every one of you knows from Prabhupada in? Krishna does not say that you go everywhere. But how do we just meditate and get it in touch with that Brahma? They say that you just have to meditate transcendental meditation. No, what they say, I don't know. I know what Krishna says, that's all. Problem is to know the man's confusion typically illustrated exactly what Srila Prabhupada was always complaining about. The people hear about Lord Krishna from any source other than Krishna himself and his bona fide representatives. They therefore simply become confused. Our mission is to present before you what Krishna says, that's all. Prabhupada said, we are not concerned what others say, we are not concerned. Prabhupada's strong reply stirred the crowd's appreciation of his fixed position and his refusal to be drawn off on a tangent. Many smiled and nodded at his no-nonsense authoritative approach. It was exactly what they had come to hear. Alright, we have taken enough. Now, no more. Chant Hare Krishna. We join with us. Leaving the devotees to finish with a film show and Kirtana, Prabhupada left via a long covered parkway. After a short drive back to the house and the chairlift upstairs, he settled comfortably in his room, thoroughly enlivened by the night's preaching. He called in Harikesha and had him set up the tape recorder so that he could listen to the playback of his talk. He grinned and then laughed when it came to the point where he had referred to everyone as Mura. I have spoken very strongly, he said, but still they did not protest. Rather, they appreciated, yes, it is fact. We also appreciated the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's character. He is so pure and free from malice or envy of others that he can speak with utter candor about people's faults and call them fools and rascals without anyone taking the least offense. Moreover, his own innocent wonder at how he is able to do this simply increases his charm many times over. January 2nd, 1976. Shall I continue or another?
Prabhupada can read.
Hare
Who's the
Krishna,
next?
Prabhuji.
Okay.
January 2nd, 1976, Madras appears a pleasant city, not congested and generally clean. and well managed. On the way to Marina Beach for his morning walk, Srila Prabhupada commended the well kept, attractive buildings and wide beachfront road. The shore itself is a clean, wide, long stretch of sand. Along the shoreline, fishing boats, catamarans, and nets were beached in clusters. The sea breeze was refreshing, and the lack of commercialization, coconut sellers, pan merchants, hotels, and the like, and even people, made it pleasant contrast to Bombay Juhu Beach. In his usual fashion, Prabhupada walked up and down the beach for half an hour both ways, engaging us in conversations. He'd stop occasionally to emphasize his points, enjoying the exercise and freshness of sand, sea, and sky. The sannyasis were all present, and as were the local devotees and some life members. Prabhupada continued his expose of modern science, prompting Harikesha to repeat some of the arguments they have discussed during the past month. Prabhupada drew that the newly arrived Tamal Krishna Maharaj and other sannyasis into the debate. The sun has risen, its light glinting across the water. Fishermen was repairing their light craft, readying them for another day's work on unpredictable Bay of Bengal. While a little group discussed the structure of the universe and the eternal soul's ability to live in any condition, even within the fiery globe which now so brightly illuminated the entire sky. After a while, Prabhupada let the subject drop. He walked past a group of mounted police exercising their horses and then back to the pavement. Various statues of well known personalities and some very handsome buildings lined the beach front. A house with Bengali writing on it came to view, attracting Srila Prabhupada's attention. It was the former resident of well known sadhu. Achyut Nanda asked if it has belonged to Swami Vivekananda. Prabhupada confirmed that after coming back from foreign countries, Vivekananda had made his position here in Madras. Achyut Nanda said that a life member from Calcutta called Veni Sankarna Sharma had written a book titled An Unknown Chapter of the Life of Swami Vivekananda. A book claimed that Vivekananda smoked a hookah and ate meat. To this information, Prabhupada replied, "Yes, that is known to everyone." Yashodananda knew someone in Hyderabad who used to cook for the Ramakrishna mission. He told Prabhupada he said they used to cook any kind of meat. Achyut Nanda said that he has one asked that cook, "Did you ever cook human meat?" The cook had told him, "If they told me, I would have done that also." Achyut Nanda added, there was nothing beyond their diet. The party went on a decipher in the Bengali title over the house, identifying it as the House of Vivekananda. They say Swami Vivekananda walked barefoot all over India at some stage of his life. This statue here is his life as a wandering sadhu, Achyut Nanda offered. But Prabhupada asked, who is a sadhu? Then the question is, who is a sadhu? You cannot say. Achyut Nanda say, one who is Krishna conscious. Unless one is 100% Krishna conscious, he is not a sadhu. Prabhupada said, Sadhu bhusanaha titikasva karuneka surdah sarva dehinam ajata satra vah sanatanah sada vah sadhu bhushana. This is sadhu. As we approached our vehicles, Prabhupada made a wry comment about the monuments erected along the beachfront. All statues are crying here. Among the Achyutananda Swami picked out another figure of recent prominence. This was one not an Indian but a Western woman, Annie Besant, who converted from Christianity to Hinduism in the day of the British Raj. Such a conversion of Hinduism would almost defy the person in the eyes of the ordinary Indians. Srila Prabhupada remarked sardonically, they came to be Avtara here, and she also came from Ireland to become Avtara here. Achyutananda Swami explained how she had become interested in the Gita. She was Christian and her infant died. So she asked the press whether the child's soul would go to heaven or hell and why. She felt that the child hadn't done anything, but she was dissatisfied with their answers. Eventually, she heard about transmigration of the soul, then she became interested in the Gita and India. Prabhupada asked, so did she understand? Achyut Nanda said, well, only up to a transmigration of the soul. She admits. Prabhupada said. Achyut Nanda said, yes. As we were about to return to our residence, a few gentlemen accompanying us on the walk told Prabhupada how much they appreciated his practical appreciation practical explanations of the spiritual life, although they admitted that sometimes they were difficult to accept. One of them commented candidly, 2 and 2 will always be 4, but we people don't agree so far. Prabhupada smiled, yes, you want 5. They burst out laughing, we want 5 correct. He told them a short story about a grocer's son who was doing business on his father's behalf. He was giving change of 4 rupees instead of the correct amount 5. So the customer said, why you are giving me 4 rupees? The boy pleaded innocence. No, I do not know what is the exchange. So the customer then said, no, it is 6 rupees. To which anxious boy replied, no, my father will be angry. Amidst loud laughing, Prabhupada explained, it means he knows perfectly well what is 5 rupees, but he is innocent. When he was giving 4 rupees and when the customer wants 6 rupees, no, my father will be angry. He used the anecdote to illustrate the mentality of men who wanted to comment on Gita and other works without accepting the real meaning, adding distortion to suit their own purpose. They have created havoc by misinterpreting Bhagavad Gita. All people, he said, according to their wish, 5 rupees note means 4 rupees by imagination. They have created havoc all over the world. Otherwise, everything is there. If we take Krishna instruction, then whole world become immediately happy. But they will not take it. They will manufacture their own 2 plus 2 equal to 5 or 3, not exactly 4. He advised the men to read his books, especially the new, the Nectar of Instruction. When they complained that no books were available at his lecture last night, Prabhupada was extremely concerned. Mahasa Swami reassured him there had indeed been a book table present and many books were sold. The men hadn't seen it, so Srila Prabhupada told the sannyasis, keep the book table in a prominent place so that other can see. And any book which is not in stock, you can note down his order so that you can send him later on. Recently, we have published a very important book, The Nectar of Instruction. For the common man, it is very nice. This morning, Mr. Bhai and his wife came upstairs to see Srila Prabhupada after breakfast and requested him to narrate some stories about Krishna's pastime in Vrindavan. They especially wanted to hear about the Rasa Leela, Krishna's intimate activities with the gopis. Srila Prabhupada has, of course, often told us that confidential topic may be discussed only with those qualified to hear. For his host, he made no exceptions. He excused himself by saying that personally he wasn't qualified to speak of such things. Despite their persistence, he would not discuss the topic. Anyone else want to read?
Who's the next?
Okay, I think.
Okay, let me go then.
Okay.
During Srila Prabhupada's massage, Guru Kripa Maharaj talked with Prabhupada about some problems he was having in Japan. Guru Kripa and Yasodananda Swamis are in charge of the Namahata Sankirtan part, which has been collecting funds in Japan for the development of the Mayapur project. Trivikrama Swami is also in Japan trying to preach to the local people and establish a permanent temple. Recently, the two parties have been engaged in bitter arguments. Although the Namahata party has raised large amounts of funds for Mayapur, there's also been some bad publicity, and Trivikrama Swami felt that some of the men were not behaving properly. That's a long story there. Guru Kripa Maharaj didn't appreciate Trivikrama's criticism, and he asked Prabhupada if Trivikrama could be transferred to another preaching field. Prabhupada will not allow it. He told him he wanted them to work cooperatively and not fight. Although Srila Prabhupada was clearly reserved in his attitude, Guru Kripa Swami stuck to his position and tried to minimize his own mistakes. Srila Prabhupada dealt with him with care and respect, but held firm to his decision that they must work cooperatively. He wants them to put aside personal differences to advance the cause of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. Guru Kripa Maharaj left later in the day for Calcutta. He and a few men will return to Japan shortly to resume collecting from Mayapur. This evening program was again an extremely successful one. The guest of honor was the Chief Justice of Madras, the Chief Justice gave an introductory speech in which he described how modern materialistic life results in ultimate suffering. At some point, I cannot just have to move this thing here. He made some good points, but his talk was also riddled with philosophical misunderstanding. Nevertheless, he was polite and respectful. Srila Prabhupada didn't correct him directly, but in the course of his lectures, redressed the mistaken ideas. The full house listening attentively as Srila Prabhupada delivered another lengthy and erudite discourse from one of his favorite sections of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavatamrta instructions of Prahlad Maharaj to his school friends. Again, he repeatedly stressed the necessity of hearing from authorized sources in order to properly understand what is real Dharma. He simply established that Dharma means three things: to know Krishna, to act in relationship to Krishna, and to finally achieve the goal of going back to Krishna, back to Godhead. See, that's Dharma. To loud applause, Srila Prabhupada asked for questions, and there was no shortage of inquiries, with Achyutananda Swami acting as a moderator, and he answered them all to everyone's full satisfaction. Achyutananda Maharaj repeated the first question. This is a word of Shakti, or energy. There is a worldwide rise in the price of energy resources like oil, coal, gas, and electricity. This means there is a depletion of these energy resources. Naturally, there will be worldwide destruction of mankind and other living beings, the material, in the near future. What are your views? Prabhupada offered a new angle on the subject, and everyone clapped as they appreciated his ability to link everything sensibly and practically to the central purpose of life. Yes, he said, these material things, they are energies. This is described in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhumiyapo Nalo Vayu, Kanmano Buddhir Eva Cha, Vina Prakti Astada. The petrol is also another form of Krishna's energy, Parasya Sakti Vividaiva Suryate. There are many millions of energies. Natasya Karyad Karana Cha Vidyate. Krishna has nothing to do because everything's been done by his energy. Although he is the ultimate source of everything, he is doing everything by his energy, and it appears that it's being automatically done. It is not automatically done. It is done by Krishna's energy. So this material energy is also Krishna's energy. It is not a different energy. Petrol is a liquid thing, so apa. So it is Krishna's energy. Our Vaishnava philosophy is that Krishna's energy should be utilized for Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. So everything can be utilized for the service of Krishna. When you use this petrol for spreading Krishna consciousness, if we can use 100,000 motor cars using petrol for spreading Krishna consciousness, that's the proper utilization of petrol. Excuse me. Achyutananda repeated a lady's question. Krishna says to perform your swadharma. So how does one know what is his swadharma? That is swadharma when Krishna says you surrender to me. That is a swadharma because you are part and parcel of Krishna. Your business is to serve Krishna, just like his finger is part and parcel of my body. So I say, finger, please come here. He ultimately comes. This is the normal condition of the finger. Similarly, if you're really healthy in normal condition, then you must be ready to serve Krishna. That is your swadharma. Prabhupada's example was simple but lucid. And again, the alert audience clapped to show that they understood. A man, obviously a pantheistic, was next. There are many incarnations, including Krishna. So Krishna gave Bhagavad Gita. So doesn't that mean the author has not given all the gods, whatever, including Krishna? Prabhupada cut in. So that I have already explained that incarnation, whose incarnation? The question will be whose incarnation? God, gods. So that God's Krishna. You do not know that. You now learn it. And bring it up, please. Is not Rama a god? Yes, incarnations means somebody's incarnation. So who is that in somebody? That's Krishna. That's all. If you do not know, then you do not. If you do not know, hold on. If you do not know it, you understand now. Achyutanand Maharaj took one last question. It is necessary that a person should pass through the three ashrams, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, before becoming to sannyas. Prabhupada answered, this is the normal rules and regulations. That's especially Brahmana, he must go through the four ashrams. First of all, becomes a Brahmachari, then Grihastha, then Vanaprastha, and then takes sannyasi. This is for the Brahmanas. As for the Kshatras, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha. As for the Vaishyas, Brahmachari, Grihastha, and for the Sudras, only Grihastha. This is the process. This is normal process. But either one is Brahmana or a Kshatra or a Vaishya or Sudra. If he takes to Krishna conscious, he becomes above these rules and regulations. Srila Prabhupada's comments were deeply appreciated by his audience because here in Madras, possibly more than any place in India, the governments make a systematic attempt to dismantle the old caste system. However, the effort to establish more equitable society have often resulted in reverse discrimination against the caste Brahmanas. Prabhupada is probably the first person to show them a true platform of equal dealing for all without disturbing the social balance. As they clapped, he continued, yes, ma'am. Yes. Ma chayo vyabhacharena bhaktyogena sevate sagunam samatitya itan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So this Krishna consciousness movement is that it is giving immediate lift to everyone to come to the transcendental platform, Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. But general state is varnashram dharma. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was discussing with Ramananda Roy, he first of all said, what is the aim of life? So Ramananda Roy replied that, first of all, to begin this Varnashrama Dharma. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, this is all right, but this is external. If you know something better, please tell me. So in this way, step by step, everything was described by Ramananda Roy, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not reject it. He said, it is all right, but you should know something better, but you know something better. Then at least when Ramananda said, quoting one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Stane stita struti gata tanu vam manobir, that it doesn't matter what you are, you remain in your post. Stane stita struti gata. Through oral reception, if you hear about Krishna, then you become perfect. That is the statement. So this is required at the present moment, that you remain wherever you are, either Brahmana, Kshatra, Vaishya, Shudra, Englishman, Indian, it doesn't matter. You try to understand Krishna, that's all. If you do that, then everything will be perfect. How far this thing goes? Let me see how far it goes. Okay. I'll read a little bit more. We're about to close. Okay. So that can be easily done by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving this mantra. It is from Shastra. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Namaiva Kevalam, Kalova Naste, Eva Nasti, Eva Pratiranyata. In this age of Kali Yuga, it is very difficult to bring back the following population again to the standard of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. It is practically lost now. The best thing is that all of them combined together, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, or even less than Sudra, Kiratra, Kunandra, Pulinda, Pulkasa. Take to this process of chanting and hearing the Lord's name, everything will be all right. It is confirmed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was discussing with Ramananda Rai that he was governor of his mother's province under the regime of Maharaj Prataparuda of Orissa, and he was a politician. But he was very learned, a scholar in Krishna science. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking with him. He was a Shudra by birth, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not very exalted position, Brahmana and Sannyasi. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not only very exalted position, Brahmana and Sannyasi. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was questioning and he was answering. He felt a little hesitation that, sir, you are so exalted. I'm a Grihastha, I'm a politician. And how can I Immediately, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encouraged him, no, don't hesitate. Kiva Shudra, Kiva Vipra, Nyasi Kenenoi. Hey Krishna Tattva Veda, say Guru Hoy. He said, don't hesitate. It doesn't matter whatever, he's a Gihasa, Sannyasa, Brahman, or Sudra. If he knows the Krishna, he's a guru. He's a guru. That's wanted. We are teaching that Krishna consciousness. So, excuse me, Srila Prabhupada brought his part of the program to a successful close. It was the final day, and everyone stood out of respect and appreciation as he made his way to the car. And when he's back to Mr. Bai's house, Prabhupada said he was happy to find the people of Madras eager to hear spiritual instruction. Both the arrangements and the response have pleased him. So we finished in this page. We did 1 hour here. Everybody's happy? Who's happy? Give me a big smile.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Very good. Beautiful, Prabhupada. So I just came from Madras. I went to Madras, to do some work in there. I stayed there about a week. It's amazing. So much different from when I was there, and fantastic city. Okay, so we have here, I ask for the blessings of all the devotees. Pray for this servant of Prabhupada, Bhagavatamrta Dasa, and pray to Krishna can inspire me to serve the Vaishnavas in this community. And we'll see you next Sunday. We have some beautiful discussion. You all steady there. I can't believe it, So very inspiring me, and so I hope we'll keep doing this. Thank you so much. If you all give me permission, I shall leave. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Wow, beautiful day here. I love it. This day. Hare Bol.